Imagine this. Someone insults you, and you feel nothing. A stranger cuts you off in traffic, and your peace remains untouched. A friend betrays you, and instead of exploding, you calmly walk away with clarity. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that becoming emotionally untouchable is not only possible, it's a skill, a mindset, a way of being that can be developed. In a world where outrage is currency, staying calm is a superpower. In today's video, we're going to explore how to stop letting people live rent-free in your mind. We'll blend psychology, philosophy, and timeless wisdom to uncover how to master your emotions so deeply that nothing and no one can shake your peace again. This isn't about becoming cold or emotionless. It's about becoming clear. So clear that anger doesn't blind you, that triggers don't own you, and that you no longer take anything personally. Because the truth is, real power is silent. It's the power that doesn't need to react. Let's dive in. Let's start with something most people get wrong. Anger doesn't come from other people. It comes from you. When someone insults you, your boss disrespects you, or a friend forgets something important, you don't get angry because of them. You get angry because of what you believe their actions mean. The Greek philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This idea is at the core of emotional mastery. Your interpretation creates your emotion. Psychology backs this up. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, teaches that it's not events that cause emotions, but our thoughts about those events. You're not angry because someone cut you off in traffic. You're angry because you believe they disrespected you, and you took it personally. Anger is a fire started by interpretation and fueled by expectation. Expect someone to respect you, and when they don't, you feel betrayed. But if you expected nothing, you'd have nothing to react to. This realization is powerful because it puts the control back in your hands. If thoughts create emotions, then you can challenge those thoughts. You can pause, step back, and change the narrative. Anger isn't a reflex, it's a choice, one that you make so quickly you don't even notice. But once you do notice, you can change everything. Why do certain people or situations trigger such strong emotional reactions in us? Why do we let what others say or do burrow so deeply into our minds? The answer is simple and unsettling. People trigger us because they touch wounds we haven't healed. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, called it the shadow. It's the part of ourselves we reject or repress, our insecurities, our pain, our shame. When someone says something that hits that shadow, we flare up. Not because they're right, but because deep down, we fear they might be. That's why a stranger's comment can hurt more than it should. It's not just what they said, it's what it reveals inside us. Often, emotional reactions are echoes of the past. They're not responses to the present, but to memories, beliefs, and patterns we carry from childhood. If someone ignores you and you feel abandoned, it's not about them. It's about an old emotional script being replayed. The truth is, people don't really get under your skin. They reveal what's already there. So here's the shift. Instead of resenting the person who triggers you, be curious. What are they showing you about yourself? What wound are they pressing on? This is shadow work. This is emotional alchemy, and when you heal those parts, when you integrate the shadow, triggers lose their power. Insults feel empty. Offenses glance off like rubber bullets. Because once you understand that your reaction says more about you than them, you reclaim your power. And no one, not even your worst critic, can touch that. Let's talk about detachment, one of the most misunderstood concepts in emotional mastery. Detachment is not apathy. It's not coldness. It's not about pretending not to care. Detachment is about emotional regulation. It's the space between stimulus and response. It's the ability to feel, but not be consumed. In psychology, this is where mindfulness and neuroscience intersect. Your brain has two main areas that govern emotional response: the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala is reactive, fast, emotional, and primitive. The prefrontal cortex is rational, slow, conscious, and evolved. When you get triggered, the amygdala fires. You feel rage, fear, shame. But when you pause, breathe, and reflect, that's the prefrontal cortex stepping in. That's detachment in action. Think of detachment as being the observer of your own mind. You notice your anger. You witness your anxiety. But you don't become it. You choose your response. Detachment gives you power. If someone insults you, and you're detached, you don't react to them. You assess the situation, protect your energy, and move accordingly. You stay rooted while the storm rages. The ancient Stoics practiced this. Marcus Aurelius journaled daily to remind himself that his thoughts were not reality. Buddhists call it non-attachment, freedom from clinging. Practices like meditation, journaling, and breathwork help strengthen this skill. They slow the brain down. They create distance. They help you respond, not react. The ultimate goal is this. You no longer need the world to behave a certain way for you to be okay. You are okay, regardless. That's detachment. That's emotional freedom. And once you taste that level of calm clarity, you'll never want to go back. Mastering your emotions isn't a one-time shift, it's a daily practice. Like going to the gym for your body, emotional strength requires consistent reps for your mind. Here are practical ways to build your emotional control every single day. Morning clarity practice. Start your day with intention. Spend 10 minutes journaling. What could trigger me today? How will I choose to respond? This sets your emotional tone for the day, helping you spot reactions before they take over. The 90-second rule. Neuroscientist Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor discovered that when we have an emotional reaction, it physiologically lasts only 90 seconds, unless we feed it with more thoughts. Next time anger arises, breathe and watch the wave pass. Don't engage. Let it dissolve. Label the emotion. When you name what you feel, I'm feeling shame. I'm feeling judged. You activate the logical part of your brain and reduce the emotional charge. This is called affect labeling in psychology. Meditation. Just 10 minutes a day of mindful breathing strengthens your emotional resilience. You become better at observing thoughts without grabbing onto them. Meditation is like emotional weightlifting, cold exposure or physical challenge. Doing difficult physical things, like cold showers or exercise, trains your nervous system to handle stress without panic. You're teaching your body. Discomfort doesn't mean danger. Reflection before reaction. End your day with reflection. What triggered me today? Why? What belief did it touch? This rewires your mind for awareness instead of reaction. The goal of these practices isn't perfection, it's awareness. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you never feel anger or pain. It means you don't become it. You feel it, understand it, and choose your response. Over time, these small practices compound. You become the kind of person who doesn't flinch at insults, who doesn't crumble under pressure, and who doesn't need others to behave a certain way for you to remain calm. Emotional control is the ultimate self-discipline. It's what separates reaction from leadership, victimhood from victory, and once you build it, you become unshakable. One of the fastest ways to reclaim your peace is this. Stop taking things personally. Most of what people say or do is a reflection of their internal world, not yours. Their judgments, their mood swings, their rudeness. It's about them, not you. Yet we internalize it. We make their pain our responsibility, their criticism our identity. But here's the truth. You are not the story someone else tells about. Don Miguel Ruiz in his book The Four Agreements puts it plainly. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. Think about it. One person praises you, another criticizes you. Same action, different reaction. So whose opinion is true? Neither. Truth is subjective, and clinging to it only creates suffering. The key is to build inner validation. To know who you are so deeply that external opinions lose their grip. When someone disrespects you, you don't need to defend your worth. You know it. You've internalized it. This isn't arrogance. It's grounded self-assurance. It's the result of doing the inner work, of knowing your values, your limits, your truth. So when someone lashes out, you don't absorb it. You observe it. You ask, is this about me or them? And most of the time, it's them. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize you can't control people's opinions, but you can control your attention. You can choose not to hand over your peace every time someone projects their pain. And that choice? That's power. What if I told you that every emotional trigger is actually a hidden teacher, that the irritation, the anger, the offense, they're not problems to be avoided but invitations to grow? Most people run from their triggers. They numb them, deny them, blame others for them. But emotionally untouchable people? They lean in. Psychologically, this is known as emotional intelligence, specifically, self-awareness. The ability to notice when you're triggered and ask why, instead of lashing out or shutting down. Let's say someone calls you lazy and you feel an intense emotional reaction. Instead of defending yourself or stewing in shame, pause. Ask, why does this sting? Maybe it hits an insecurity. Maybe it echoes something you were told as a child. Maybe you've been doubting yourself lately. That question is the doorway. Because once you understand the real root of the trigger, you reclaim the power it held over you. Philosophers and mystics throughout history echoed this same idea. Rumi once said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you. Your triggers reveal your wounds, and your wounds point toward your healing." This doesn't mean tolerating toxic behavior. It means using every uncomfortable moment as a chance to understand yourself more deeply. You become less reactive and more reflective. Over time, you build a powerful mindset. Nothing is against you. It's all showing you something. Even the worst insult becomes data, feedback, an emotional signal pointing you toward deeper clarity, confidence, and growth. This is the alchemy of emotional mastery, turning lead into gold, pain into wisdom, triggers into teachers. Once you start doing this, once every reaction becomes a lesson, no one can control you anymore. You become emotionally sovereign. There's a moment in every argument, every confrontation, every insult, when you face a choice. Do I fight for control, or do I protect my peace? Most people unconsciously choose the first. They argue to win. They defend their pride. They chase the last word. But here's the paradox. The more you try to win emotionally, the more you lose. Because in the battle for ego, everyone bleeds. Choosing peace doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you value your inner world more than proving something to the outer one. From a psychological lens, this ties into what's called ego preservation. Your ego wants to be right. It wants validation. It sees every disagreement as a threat to identity. But when you become emotionally untouchable, you learn to separate your ego from your essence. The ancient Taoists had a saying, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." Choosing peace is self-conquest. It's the recognition that no one can drag you into a war unless you pick up the sword.